What I'm about to tell you is no secret. Old people love the state of Florida. And it isn't just a false stereotype either. Over 21% of Florida's 22 million resident population are senior citizens, a higher percentage than any other state, which accounts for nearly 5 million old folks living in the Sunshine State as of 2023. But the question I'm going to be answering today is, why is Florida such a haven for the elder generation of American citizens? It may not be why you think, but let's start off with the most obvious reason: the weather. The state's mild winters and warm summers create an inviting climate, allowing retirees to engage in outdoor activities year-round. This temperate weather not only supports an active lifestyle, but also contributes to the overall well-being and sense of vitality in the senior population. With statewide year-round temperatures looking like this, it's no wonder why seniors flock to Florida for the weather. I mean, they call them snowbirds for a reason. If you didn't already know, snowbirds is a term used to refer to the influx of people, usually elderly folks, who move or visit warmer southern states in the winter, most notably the state of Florida. Just think about how much more difficult life is for senior citizens who live in more northern, snowy states. In states where snow is plentiful, so is the pain of dealing with that snow and ice. Shoveling heavy loads of snow off a driveway, operating a 4,000-pound motor vehicle on slippery, icy roads, and not to mention walking on said icy roads. There's a bunch of hazards for old people when dealing with winter weather, which is probably why states such as Alaska, Utah, Colorado, and North Dakota are all at the bottom of the list of percentage of senior citizens relative to state population. But of course, there are other factors making Florida more desirable than those other states, and one of the biggest is taxes. Let's compare Florida to California just for a second here. Both have exceptional weather for old folks, both have many retirement communities, amenities, and a plethora of big cities and small towns fit for retirement-aged folks. So then why does Florida have 22% of its population made up of senior citizens, and why does California only have 15th? Well, just look at the tax spread. California has the highest marginal state individual income tax rate out of any state in the nation, at 13.30% as of January 2023. And Florida's income tax rate? Well, it's zero. That means no state taxes on Social Security benefits, pensions, IRAs, 401ks, and other retirement income. It also has no inheritance tax or estate tax. Meanwhile, California taxes all of those at just about the highest rates in the nation. Surely that means California's roads and infrastructure are in way better condition than Florida's, right? Well, no. Very much no. But that's a topic for another video. Seniors make the most of their retirement funds in Florida. Their dollar goes so much further than it does in California, something attracting not only senior citizens, but younger citizens too. Livability is another crucial aspect drawing older folks to Florida. The state boasts numerous retirement communities offering a range of housing options tailored to the specific needs of seniors. From active adult communities to assisted living facilities, Florida provides a diverse array of living arrangements, ensuring that retirees can find a home that suits their lifestyle and preferences. In fact, Florida is in the top 5 states with the greatest number of assisted living communities. But it's not just assisted living communities elder folks are flocking to. There's communities, heck, even full cities designated for 55-plus living lifestyles. And they're more hopping than you think. One such community that's gained a lot of notoriety is the census-designated place known as the Villages. The Villages are located in central Florida, about halfway between downtown Orlando and downtown Gainesville, and comprises 13 districts, all of which have a kind of Disney-esque downtown to them. Make no mistake, these faux downtowns all date back to the early 2000s, but if you were to come here, you'd think these buildings have been here since the 50s and 60s. But this was done on purpose, to invoke a sense of familiarity, the same kind seen in old, lost American cities of a bygone era. The Villages know their residents, as the entire place, with a population of 80,000, is 55 plus, not including the minuscule percent of residents with children. Again, this is a place with its slogan touting Florida's friendliest active adult 55-plus retirement community. And within these nostalgic fake downtowns, you could find everything from bookstores, movie theaters, fast casual dining options, cell phone stores, and even golf cart dealerships, which is the most popular mode of transportation within the Villages. There's something almost impressively dystopian about a place like this. A place where retirees can go live in their cookie-cutter Sears catalog homes, all within the walls of a collection of massive gated district communities, celebrating the suburban sprawl, formulated fake downtowns, and enormous golf course land usage. It's paradoxical, almost as if these people forgot that they did exactly this to the entire country back in the 50s and 60s, sprawling out, leaving their downtowns for decay, only for a new generation to have to clean up the mess. I'm glad they have a place to escape the very thing they helped create, but I digress. I truly could do a video on the Villages as a whole, and I very well might. But the point here is, for some reason, old folks love this kind of living, and Florida is the epicenter for it. Walmart, Publix, brand name hotel chains, the Villages have it all under their jurisdiction, and the meteoric rise in population signals to other would-be developers that more of this type of living would be a lucrative long-term investment. Personally, I'd rather see the downtowns of struggling or even otherwise thriving cities be built up and densified, but an urbanist can only dream. And admittedly, I'm far enough away from my 50s where I don't have to worry about this conundrum for quite some time. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if the Village's success will be replicated, or if Gen X desires something, anything, I don't know, better. But really, the Villages are an appropriate microcosm when looking at why old people love Florida as a whole. Another reason why old people love Florida? Well, the abundant access to air and sea travel. Old folks love to travel, and with the amount of free time and disposable income that the state's older residents have, I can't blame them. And elder Floridians are in luck, because Florida is home to the third most airports in the US, with a total of 489 as of 2023, only behind Texas and Alaska. Yep, that's right, Florida has more airports than California. Many of Florida's airports are international as well, including the likes of Fort Lauderdale International, West Palm Beach International, and of course, Miami International. Even smaller metros are serviced by major air carriers, such as Lakeland Linder International Airport, in between Tampa and Orlando, Melbourne Orlando International Airport, in between West Palm Beach and Orlando, even Panama City and its 33,000 residents are serviced by its Northwest Beaches International Airport. Not only is easy access to airplanes a draw for old folk, we all know how much the elderly love their cruises too, with 1 out of 3 cruise passengers being at least 60 years old post-pandemic, from cruise ships sailing into the Caribbean, where ships from South Florida travel from. Going hand in hand with that statistic is the fact that 4 out of the 10 busiest cruise ship ports in the US are in Florida, with Florida being home to the top 3 in Port Canaveral, Port Miami, and Port Everglades. This perfect storm creates an ideal travel landscape for well-off older folks. And there is no coincidence that the state with the highest percentage of people 65 and older also has the most broad travel amenities. If only Americans weren't so burdened in their younger years with debt, stagnant wages, and rising cost of living that they didn't have to wait until their 60s, 70s, and 80s to travel the world. Moreover, the state is well equipped with healthcare facilities, providing older residents with access to quality medical care, having the 3rd most staffed hospital beds of any state behind California and Texas, which, as you can imagine, is a big part of the livability factor for older folks. Clearly, the numbers say old people love Florida. And whether that's because of the easy access to luxury travel, abundance of hospital and medical services, incredible weather and beaches, or the plethora of 55+ communities, it stands to reason that Florida will be attracting older people for years to come. But with seemingly everyone, regardless of age, flocking to Florida for a myriad of different reasons, will the state's infrastructure hold up long term? I'd like to see Florida innovate ways to make life easier and more enjoyable and less car dependent within its cities, rather than repeat older, more dated solutions. Gen X, let's densify the Sunshine State. But that's all for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week from Town, City, State.